Hey everyone, how's it going? Sometimes you guys, I get scared that I have to sit so much for like the work that I do, and like the fact that I create so many videos and do so much video editing, and so much of that I have to sit for. I mean, I stand for some of it, but some of it but a lot of it I sit for, and that like gives me anxiety sometimes because I'm sitting a lot during live streams, sitting a lot during editing. Anyway, how is everyone? How's everyone doing? Where are you coming from? Oh, it's supposed to rain all week here. That is very rageful. All right, let me see if I can share this. It's been super dreary out. Just like every single day. France, you're coming from France. From Spain, hello, Dario. If you guys are in YouTube, this doesn't get bruised, it's a real thing. Oh, weird. That's crazy. I didn't know that. If you guys are in YouTube, make sure to take the polls. The polls? Why can't I say polls? Yeah, it's going to be dreary all week too and rainy all week. And I'm already like, whatever. It's very Rachel. Doesn't feel like Christmas at all. Do you guys like my shirt? Okay. How do you like that? I got this from a Palestinian designer in Australia, driving back from work, listening to your live. Hey, Alamode, I heard that didn't Australia is this something I'm making up in my head, or did Australia ban some Israeli regime tourists from coming to the country? I was joking, but that's literally true. How's everyone doing? Oh, there's so much. You know what pisses me off? Is that, hey Osmaric, hey Bianca. They were IOF operatives. Oh, that's funny. Good for them. Good for them. I think they didn't give them a visa. That's really funny. Well, good. Good for them. That's the right thing to do. So I'm trying to Osmeric. What does that mean? All right, well, those of you guys who are in YouTube, make sure to take the poll. I think I might have put 2 polls or maybe a Q&A. I don't know, because I don't stream directly in YouTube or from YouTube. One soldier got arrested in Morocco. Lol. Oh, that's really funny. That's really funny. Oh my gosh. I think that we all know that Google is really crappy now, right? Like we all know that Google sucks. I don't know what happened, but it sucks. Like the Twitter search bar is actually, or like search engine is actually better, which is saying a lot, But I also hate Twitter because it's so like, it's less censorious than it's less censorious than a lot of the other social media apps, but it's also rigged, by Elon Musk, for Donald Trump, for the right wing, for the Zionists, and for the billionaire class, which is why the For You section always only talks about things that would pertain to them. Thank you, Donald. Yes, you are. But Donald, I also put a Q&A in there that says, what day would work for you guys to do a private AMA with me? Because I couldn't get a consistent date from people last week. I was going to do it this week, or like ask about it last week and then do it this week, but I could not get a consistent date or anything from everyone who are members. So I'm trying again. What do you think about the mayoral race or election and the potential primary candidate? Wait, we're already in the mayoral election. Who's running? The Q&A is not showing up? What? That's rageful. What? Why? It should. Hold on. This is so annoying. Why? Why does everything always have to be hard? Wait, it is showing up. It's on there. It's saying it's on there. That's really weird that you can't see it because it's on there. Anyway. Oh, wait, can you guys hear me? Yeah, that's Rachel. I'm going to steal that. There's a, are you sub to my channel question? Yeah, they're both, it's saying that they're both there though on my end. That's really annoying. That's really annoying. I know I usually don't do streams on Monday, but I decided that I was going to because I'm not going to have a lot of other time to do it this week. I will probably do on Thursday too, though, guys. So, yeah, who is running in the mayoral race? The Israeli regime shut down its Ireland embassy. I saw that. I made a video about it too yesterday, or a short, I guess. I made a video about it yesterday. I know. I thought that was really funny. Bye. And you'll never guess the reason why they said they were shutting down the embassy, because they're anti-Semitic. Ireland's Hamas. Wait. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to delete the poll and see if the Q&A thing will show up. Richie Torres. Wait, no, I did know this. I knew about Andrew Cuomo because I made a video about it. Brandon McClendon. If you go to my YouTube or my TikTok or any of the other social medias that I use, I did make a video about Andrew Cuomo running for, saying he was going to run for mayor of New York. Yeah, it's going to be so fucking cringe. It's going to be so unbearable because both of them are lunatic Zionists that just work on behalf of the Israeli regime. And that's what New Yorkers need to understand, is that if you're a New Yorker and you care at all about our city, we should have zero interest in electing someone as mayor who's going to be working on behalf of the Israeli regime, which is all they do. Go look at Richie Torres' Twitter. All that bitch does is tweet about the Israeli regime. That's it. Same with Andrew Cuomo. He was canceled basically kind of, temporary. Like these cancellations with rich people are temporary. But he was pushed out of office because he's a sex pest. And the only time he's come back to show his face again is to do propaganda for the Israeli regime. So you look at Andrew Cuomo's Twitter and you look at Richie Torres' Twitter, and all it is Israeli regime propaganda. That's it. We don't need somebody else in our politics working on behalf of a foreign government. Okay. We need somebody who actually cares about New York. Oh, I know. I saw that. The USS Liberty thing. I didn't watch it because I don't watch Candace Owens, but I did find the response of people freaking out and sharing that PragerU clip of her doing, Hasbara propaganda from years ago really funny, because they're like, oh, this is when Candace Owens used to be honest when she would do propaganda for the Israeli regime. It's like, no, bro, no, it's that she was in a right-wing echo chamber, and that's what the right wing teaches you to do. And she worked at the time for PragerU, which is a lunatic Zionist organization. So of course she was going to toe their line. Wait, some months ago, it was a bunch of Zionists that were like, who cares about Ireland anyway? They're irrelevant. Wow, that's really funny. They don't like Ireland because Ireland stands on the right side and calls them out for their bullshit, because Ireland knows what it's like to be colonized. Might as well move to NYC and run for mayor. Yeah, I know. Our mayors suck. It's like, why do they always suck? I saw Candace Owens was named Andy's. Yeah, I know. I saw a lot of people being upset they didn't win. Like Bassem Youssef was like, "Damn, I should have won." There were a couple people that felt like that they should have won. But yeah, it doesn't mean anything. All they're doing actually is helping her. The ADL and the Zionist lobby continuing to attack her are just helping her, which to me is not a good thing, because I don't think that she is somebody that people should be trusting. Because, like, I listened to some of her quote analysis on Luigi Mangione, and it was just conspiratorial nonsense as a way to distract from the real conversation of capitalism and billionaire oligarchy and the corporations that run our entire country. So that was really unfortunate. So that's why I don't think that she's helpful at all for anybody that actually cares about justice, or not being run and controlled by a corporate oligarchy or being a corporatocracy. But I'm not surprised by that, because she's married to somebody really, really wealthy, who is a wealthy capitalist. And I don't remember, I think he runs like some right-wing organization like Turning Points or some shit, which is also a Zionist organization in the UK, run by Charlie Kirk, who is a crazy Zionist. Yeah, to me, like broken clock, you know what I mean? That's how I feel about like Candace Owens. She's wrong on so many things, and she never leads her audience into a actual critique of our system, challenging our corporatocracy, challenging our plutocracy, because fundamentally conservatives don't oppose it. That's why there's never backlash when conservatives do shitty things, screw over working people, because a lot, like, conservatism at its core is capitalist, and they will do everything they can to defend the capitalist and billionaire class. So that doesn't help anyone. And even her critique oftentimes against the Israeli regime is framed only from the perspective of somebody who is upset about it because of how Christians are treated. Now, I don't disagree with the fact that the Israeli regime treats Christians terribly, but that's not the only reason you should oppose them. And I don't know. So she might have said things that were true about the Israeli regime, and it's no doubt she's been targeted by their lobby 100%. The second you step out of line against the Zionist lobby, they will come down on you like none other. but broken clock can be on the right side of one issue twice a day and for the wrong reasons. Because again, Candace Owens, remember, was hired specifically by the Daily Wire because she would do the dirty work that Ben Shapiro did not want to do. She would get on there and she would denigrate Black people and denigrate trans people and create conspiracy theories about the vaccine. And they loved it because she was a Black woman getting on there and doing that. It wasn't until she stepped out of line with the Israeli regime that then all of a sudden they were like, wait a minute, we think Candace Owens is really problematic and, she's really like hateful and she says really hatefully. It's like, bitch, that's why you guys hired her. You're just mad that, she went a little too far over that line for you and criticized the people that control your company. So let's not get that twisted. Yeah, like it's giving Jordan Peterson a lot of the time. Like, remember Daily Wire, like to hire Jordan Peterson, who like people on the right thought was this like smart intellectual, but he's really just a Zionist cuck and a hack and a crazy person. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I'm not saying that Candace Owens is not, a smart person. She is. She's very smart. And she's good at like media. She's good at what she does. But that's the reason why you have to be careful about listening to any kind of like propaganda coming from a channel like hers, because you have to know. I mean, I guess I guess if you're a conservative and you're a capitalist and you believe in protecting the plutocracy and the corporatocracy and the rulers in this country, then sure, go ahead. Candace Owens is probably going to be right up your alley. But if you have a problem with the corporatocracy and the elites running our government, well, then you probably really are not going to jive with her, probably shouldn't be listening or taking advice from her. Because like I said, if you'll notice, none of her critiques are ever of capital. Never. Her critiques and her attacks on France's Brigitte Macron are only because she thinks she's trans. Her attacks on Anthony Fauci or the big pharma is only that she's anti-vax. It never is about the way we are gouged and the price gouging. Her comments about Luigi Mangione had nothing to do with the fact that we are fucked over by our healthcare system and just went into conspiratorial nonsense about maybe he's a Fed. Like nothing. The fundamental thing you will never see from conservatives, and this is not just true of Candace Owens, this is true of every conservative. What you will never see is a critique of the underlying systems that fuck over the American people. Never. You're never going to see them attack, corporations for not paying their taxes, for screwing over the American people, for offshoring their profits and not paying taxes on those, for union busting, for, screwing the American people out of prescription drug prices that are lower. You'll never see them criticize money in politics. You'll never see that. Ever, ever, ever. Their critiques are always culture war bullshit. It's never a critique of the system and how the system hurts you. Like as an American citizen, how our oppressive corporatocracy and oligarchy that we're living under hurts you. They never talk about that. It's always just culture war bullshit. And it's the exact same reason why Ben Shapiro got ratioed into oblivion on his comments about the healthcare system, because fundamentally, she doesn't disagree with him on that. Like they both believe in our corrupt healthcare system. It's just that he's really embarrassing. So he's willing to like come out and actually just straight up shill for the corporations, where she's much more like on the DL about her shilling for it, because she's smart enough to understand that that's not really what her audience would want. The point to be a conservative is to always protect capital and scapegoat other people. Oh, it's not the pharmaceutical industry ripping you off. It's Anthony Fauci, some like random fucking guy. Oh no, it's not the fact that corporations don't pay you anything. It's actually the immigrants. Oh, it's not the fact that we don't have paid family leave. It's trans or drag queen story hour. Like it's always a diversion from trying to actually have a conversation about what is actually going on in this country. Yeah, pretty much. And she hasn't called him out for his shilling on the Israeli regime, nor has she called out the fact that he's stacking his administration with neocons and Zionists. That's how you also know she is not sincere. Like, it's not a sincere thing, you know? She's a careerist just like the rest of them. And because if she really, really believed in what she says she believes in, just like all of the right wing, again, everything I'm saying about Candace Owens is true of everybody across the right wing. The only difference is the other right wingers don't get attacked because they're willing to bend the knee to the Israeli regime. And that is the only way she's different. Like, genuinely, that's the only way she's different than the rest of the right wing, is that she has been unwilling to bend the knee to the Israeli regime. But she bends the knee to everything else. Like, she's never once criticized Trump for completely selling out to the military industrial complex, for criticizing the neocons and the war hawks, and then putting all of them in his administration, for criticizing corruption and then stacking his administration with billionaire CEOs and lunatic Zionists. Like, Mike Huckabee is a psychotic evangelical Zionist that thinks the end times are soon. And he just put him in his cabinet. Do you see them calling it out? No, of course not. Because despite what, you know, people like some people on the left tend to think now, like Jank seems to think this now, and Anna seems to think this now, that there's like a populist from TYT, I mean, that there's like a populist right happening. Guys, there is no populist right. That's why none of them care. They just fired Lena Khan, who was one of the best things that happened in the Biden administration, and none of them care. What happened to populism? What happened to populism? They should love Lena Khan. Even JD Vance pretended to love Lena Khan. And then not really when she got fired. Thank you, Saul, for gifting Blakely memberships. That's a really funny profile picture, Saul. Thank you so much. Guys, Saul just gifted 10 I Am Blakely memberships on YouTube, so you can just click on them to become a member thanks to the generosity of Saul. Thank you so much. And I got my first super chat. Thank you, Perry Stein. But liberals are just the same as conservatives. They just take the opposite side of the cultural issues. Yes, Perry, but the difference is the voters. That's why the Democrats hate their base so much. You ever notice that? The Democrats despise their base. They fucking hate the left, whereas conservatives embrace their base. And the reason for that is because the Democrats, by and large, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 lawmakers, are, as you correctly point out, hacks like the Republicans, and will sell out to the highest donor, to the highest bidder, to the Israeli lobby, to corporate America, to the pharmaceutical industry, to the military industrial complex. Correct. Those things are all true. The difference is, okay, is that one, there is only one person on the right that doesn't do that. One lawmaker on the right, that's Thomas Massie. He's the only one out of all of them. At least like of the Democrats, there's like 4, you know, not that's damning with faint praise. But I mean, the other thing is though, is that the voters care. That's again, why the Democrats hate the left. They hate the left because the left cares about corruption, cares about critiquing capitalism, cares about our system being owned and operated by billionaires and oligarchs. The left voter actually cares about those things, whereas by and large, conservatives don't really care about those things, which is why you don't see them angry when the Republicans, you know, defend to the end, like all of those things, because like they by and large don't care. Are there some voters that are against the corruption? Absolutely. On the right. That's why you saw that backlash against Ben Shapiro. But it's few and far in between. Like it's not the majority. There is a minority of conservative voters who are anti-corruption and against an anti-Zionist. And I welcome those people. If those people want to come hang, I welcome them because you can at least agree on some of the things and work together. But where I feel like TYT has it totally wrong, and a lot of people have it totally wrong, is that all of our lawmakers are on the same corrupt side. But when it comes to the voters, by and large, conservative voters actually think that, Zionism is great, the Israeli regime is great, capitalists fucking you over and the bourgeoisie fucking you over is actually awesome in the free market. And so that's why it's different, because you'll see, like, if you look at the polling on the genocide in Gaza, the vast majority that people that opposed it were on the left. Even liberals, the vast majority of voters that opposed it were on the left. Same thing with healthcare. The vast majority of people who want healthcare to be a right and not a privilege of those who can afford it are on the left. Which is why Malcolm X said liberals are worse than conservatives. Yes, because they will. The difference is that a lot of the time they pretend to give a shit about what you give a shit about, but they really don't. Conservatives oftentimes, at least when it comes to like some things, will tell you outright what monsters they are. Although sometimes I feel like we give conservatives too much credit for being real when they lie a lot and are phonies too. Like, conservative lawmakers pretending to be populist is a lie, in the same way that liberals lie. Them pretending to be populist and then trying to gut healthcare, gut regulations, give all the money to the rich and the Israeli regime. How is that populist? But they pretend to be populist and they get away with it. And the reason why they get away with it is because their voters are not holding them accountable for it. If there are really that many populists on the right, economic populists on the right, they should be holding their lawmakers accountable for their shillery. But they're not. They're not. I haven't seen it. Have you guys seen it? Yeah, so people do hate liars more than outright hateful fucks. But like I said, let's not give credit where it's not due to conservatives pretending like they're not also liars, because they're pretending right now, as they've been pretending, that they're for the populist working class when they're not. They literally oppose everything that would help the working class. Just think about it this way, guys. This is where I want you to remember that conservatives are also bad faith liars, okay? Republicans, conservatives. They all say, oh, we're populists. We care about the working class. We're the party of the working class now. Remember Ted Cruz? With calluses on their hands, we're the party of the working class now. Do they support Medicare for all or any kind of health care from the government? No. Did they support the child tax credit? No. Do they support paid family leave? No. Do Republicans support raising the minimum wage? No. Did Republicans support nursing home care that were in some of the bills that the Biden administration proposed, the Build Back Better bill? No. Do they support paid medical leave? No. Do they support reforming the housing crisis and making a law that hedge funds or private equity can't buy up whole house blocks and make it impossible for a regular American to afford a house? No, they don't oppose it. The only thing you will ever see coming as a solution from the right wing, whether they're Republicans or just conservatives, is tax cuts for the rich and deregulation for banks and businesses that are already fucking you over. That's it. There will be no, let's do anything to help the American people. It's always and forever tax cuts for the rich and deregulation. In fact, if you have any question about this, you guys, I implore you to go watch any video or find any conversation where a right-winger politician is pretending to be a populist, and then when they are asked what their solution is to some of the problems that we face in this country, what their answer is. Listen to what their answer is, and I promise you, it will always come down to, We actually need to give more tax cuts to corporations and the rich and deregulation, which what that means is taking any protections away from the American people on businesses, banks, oil companies, so that they can steal money from you with impunity and poison your water with impunity. That's what that shit means. Deregulation means let's allow them to do another Wall Street crash like they did in 2008, the financial crisis. Let's let them have another East Palestine, Ohio, where they dumped a bunch of toxic chemicals into your water and none of them are held accountable. That's what they mean when they say deregulation. So just know that and let me know. Tell me. Go listen to one of their so-called answers on that. Thank you for the super chat, Perry, by the way. I appreciate all of you who support this channel, give super chats, support my work in any way that you do. A lot of conservative populists were outed by their opposition to Mangione. Exactly. 100%. 100%. Because how do you call yourself a populist and then take the side of the healthcare companies? What? That is so cringe. Bootlicking the 1%. How pathetic. You know, a perfect example of this, and I know we talked about this last time on stream, like I already talked about this and made a video, we went over it last stream, was when we were watching the Pierce But Do You Condemn Hamas Morgan debate that had Clay Travis on it, who is a conservative populist host. What did he do? He's a populist, but he was in the Israeli regime, bootlicking to the Zionists, and then bootlicking for the CEO and the healthcare companies in that debate while attacking Breonna Joy Gray. Populist? I don't, as the great Kevin McAllister would say, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, that's true, Donald. But again, yes, it was a very small minority of people. But Donald, that's kind of the point that I'm making, though, about this, is that I'm not saying that there are no populist conservatives. There are some, but it's a small amount. It's not a lot of people. It's like when you look at populists, real populists that actually want to fight the elites and fight the oligarchy, they're mostly on the left. I would say 8 out of 10 are on the left, and there's maybe 2 on the right. And that's of the voters. That's not politicians or media personalities, because none of the politicians or media personalities are populists. None of them. Not a single one of them. They are still, as the Republican Party always has been, the party of the rich, country club, elites, tax cuts for the rich, and deregulation for big business. They've just done a rebrand, you guys. Like the Republican Party and their commentators, they've just done a rebrand, but they're not populist at all. That's why, again, they are just the Republican Party of old, like just completely bowing down to the powers that be and the corporations and big business and the Israeli regime. They just rebranded. And another perfect example of that, and you guys will see it, especially those of you on Twitter who see the way that they reacted to Luigi Mangione, is people like Matt Walsh. How did Matt Walsh make his name? By saying he was a conservative populist, by acting like he was a conservative populist. And then he was bootlicking the CEO of United Healthcare and the healthcare companies taking their side. Frauds, fraud.com. So yes, my point is, are there a small number, percentage-wise, of conservative voters that are populist? And we're talking economically populist. Yes, there are, but it is a small percentage. Most of the populists are on the left or are independents, unaffiliated, people that don't really pay attention to politics at all, are populist. And none of the right wing's media are populist, not a single one. Member for 2 months, Donald. Yay, thank you. You've been a member for 2 months now. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for helping me build this channel. Oh, you know what? we're almost, I say it's we, the royal we are almost at 20,000 subs. Okay. We are a small but mighty community here. Okay. Small but mighty. I don't even have a professional camera. I stream from my, the camera that's the default on my laptop. So we don't even have a professional camera, folks, but we're a small but mighty community. We are almost at 20 subs. Let's get to 20 subs. Let's get to 20 subs. But we do that one sub at a time. And people like Donald has been a member for 2 months. And I appreciate you so much. I appreciate every single one of you, whether you are a member or whether or not you are just subbing to the channel. I appreciate you. Let's continue to build this community. No, yeah, it's not. It's wonderful. And again, it's because of people like you, Donald, helping build the channel one sub at a time, one membership at a time. And I thank you guys so much for that. I feel like, and we'll talk about this more, I feel like in the new year, how we really need to start being serious about building leftist infrastructure, progressive infrastructure online, because it is dominated by the right wing, just dominated by the right wing. And it definitely contributed to Donald Trump's election win. So when we go into the new year, I think that we need to start having a lot more conversations about how to build left media. I made a video about it. If you guys look at my YouTube channel, I made a video about it a little earlier, talking about how we really need to start focusing on building progressive and leftist media infrastructure, because I'm not saying it's the reason why Trump won. Trump won for many reasons. It's never just one thing. But the way that they took on social media and digital media, like podcasts in general, just definitely helped. Definitely helped is all I'm saying. So my point is, what? My point, I'll get to that in a sec, just one sec. My point is that we really need to build that up, and we need to help encourage the growth of other left-wing media. You know what I mean? Like, in a way that the right is so good at doing. Because again, like, the right are evil, but they are very smart in the way that they do politics. And the left sucks at politics. Like, let's just be real about this. Like, the left sucks at politics. And the right is very good at it. And they're very good at propaganda. And one of the things they do is they always build up each other's media. Like, always build up each other's media. You got, like the Daily Wire hiring Candace Owens when they did, and then bringing on Jordan Peterson, and they go on all each other's shows. They always are uplifting each other and promoting each other's shit. They are all friends. They all go, like, encourage them to go on one to the other to try to, like, poison people's minds with their propaganda, but they're very good at it. And the left is fractured. Like, the leftist ecosystem, progressive ecosystem, is totally fractured. And we treat each other oftentimes like enemies rather than building each other up. So if you are on the left or unaffiliated or even on the right, you should be coming over to our side, and we should all be helping each other. We should all be building each other up, all be building each other's media up to try to create a bigger infrastructure in a way that the right has so successfully done. That's why I always try to sub and follow and support all the other left channels, even if they're not leftist, like even like some progressive liberal channels I'll sub to, because I think that it's really important that we get that kind of infrastructure. And yes, Donald, as you say, the reason why it's so important to do this, to build this infrastructure, is because they do have all the money. That's exactly how. They do have all the money. So that's why we really need to work hard to be better at how we politic and better at how we organize our media, and we need to be better about how we organize our media and create media infrastructure. You know what I mean? Because they do have all the monetary advantages. Yes, exactly. And this was a big part of it, random stuff, which is why it's important. Some people were like, it's not important. Media is not important. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. People, I feel like, especially on the left, I feel like people downplay the importance of media, whether that be a YouTube channel, a podcast, social media. Like, media is incredibly important. If media wasn't incredibly important, the right wing would not spend billions of dollars on it. They wouldn't spend billions of dollars creating these media apparatuses, paying propagandists to go do their dirty work for them, banning TikTok. Why do you think they banned TikTok? They didn't want people spreading information in a way that they could not control. So, yes, it's important. So thank you everybody who subs to this channel. Please sub to this channel, support this channel as a member if you are able to, or any of my other platforms if you are able to. Become a patron, become a Ko-Fi member, and also sub and support other, left media channels, people doing left media, progressive media. We need to start creating an ecosystem in which we're lifting each other up and we are promoting each other. So I'm actually thinking on that to piggyback off of starting to do like, I don't know if I want to say interviews, because interviews seems a little formal, but like maybe starting to have other left people from the left on here. Like maybe, I don't know, once a week or once every 2 weeks, or I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I'm kind of shopping it like right now. It's like TYT's downfall. I don't support TYT anymore, but I still caucus with them. We have to remember we're all on the same team. That's a good point, Donald. Exactly. Like you can people can be like, okay, TYT to a lot of people now has become more conservative. People don't like it, the direction that they're going in. But at the same time, you shouldn't be spending more energy on TYT than you should be spending fighting the capitalists and the right wing and the oligarchs. Like, we have to remember who our enemy is. I got banned off your Discord for no reason at all, and I didn't even do anything wrong. I think it was one of the more things I did. Yeah, I will definitely look into that, Welsh. Let me write it down, because every time I try to do it while I'm on the stream, it ends up being like me, like a boomer sitting there and trying to like figure out how to like work Discord, and it's very boomer. But yeah, let me look into that. I will find out what's going on, because yes, I don't think that the only people that I want banned from my server are people who violate the rules, and the rules are this. I don't mind anybody being in the server as long as they are a supporter, obviously. I don't want some troll, right-wing troll in the server. And they can't be Zionists, and they can't be harassing people, or being transphobic or, hateful. But I doubt, Welsh, that you did any of those things. So yeah, I will definitely, I don't know why I can't find my Post-its. You know what? I'll just make a note on my computer. Collabs are good. I think it will be good unless you start promoting. No. No, 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 no. No. Guests give me good idea of who to follow. I ended up here because of your guest appearance. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that, and the fact that you say that makes me feel like I should do it even more, because that's how you spread information and left ideas. You also need to like talk to each other. So maybe having a guest, like I said, it's not gonna be like an interview. I'm not an interviewer, but like maybe having a guest on like once a week might be a good idea. Because it just to help uplift other people on the left, uplifting other people on the left, or other people who are independents or, left leaning. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like a professional thing either. Like, I'm totally fine with just having random people. Like, you don't have to be like, it doesn't have to be like a politician or a journalist. Like, of course, I would love to interview journalists, but or not interview journalists, but like talk to journalists. Of course, I would love to do that. But if it's just like random regular people that are doing things on the left, or random regular people that are doing things trying to make the world better, trying to make their community better, I would love to do that too. I recommend you to the letter hacked for a guest. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I haven't gotten an invite though. Have not gotten an invite yet. Okay. I'm sure he'll be inviting me very soon. Yeah, so anyway, feel free guys to tell me who you would like me to talk to or like have a chat with and have a conversation with. And yeah, feel free to put that in chat, or you can also put in the Discord. And yeah, I want to say conversation because I don't want it to be so formal. It wouldn't be formal, It would be like just hanging out, just chatting, So I wouldn't want to call it like an interview, but like maybe like an informal like conversation, just like a conversation with somebody else. So yeah, put your recs in. Also, if there's somebody that you want me to talk to, go talk to them too, because some of them will be snobs and not want to like come to talk to me because I'm not big enough. Like I don't have a large enough channel for them to want to like fuck with me on. So yeah, go tell them too that you want either me to go on their show or them to come on my show, because yeah, we need to be building each other up and not being snobs and not talking to people because they don't have a big enough platform yet. You know what's funny, Collage Mirage, is that I actually did interview Nick Cruz one time. So back before years ago, we did a very short-lived podcast or like YouTube channel, me and Chris Smalls, the Amazon labor union leader. I think the videos are still on YouTube, called It's a Smalls World. Like, I wonder if I could find that. Hold on. I wonder if I like put it in YouTube if it would show up. Yes, it does. Okay, watch this, you guys. All right, you guys see that? It was 3 years ago. Socialist MMA. Joe Biden is the most anti-Black public servant of the last 40 and 50 years. So this was like a small, like I said, podcast that we did with Chris Smalls for a little while. And then we stopped because basically Chris got really busy with just like the union and traveling around the world. He didn't have time to do it anymore. But it was good. And we interviewed people, and we interviewed Nick Cruz. And actually, Chris and I have been talking about picking up a podcast again for a while, but he hasn't really had time. I really want to though. Like we've been talking about maybe doing like a weekly live on Instagram, maybe like a weekly live on somebody's Instagram. But yeah, we haven't been able to because he's just been really busy. I hope he can though eventually soon. I hope that podcast that he and I were talking about not that long ago we're able to do. Who would you like to have as a guest or be a guest on that we may not know about? I would love to talk to, wait, hold on, let me see if I can pull him up. I don't know. I can't find them. I don't know. There are a lot of people that I would like to talk to, but I don't know if they're people you guys wouldn't know. I think you would probably know a lot of them. Some people would be people that like are that maybe that you wouldn't know, or maybe just people that I'm mutuals with on TikTok. Like, I would love to have a conversation with Salma, who is a Palestinian from Gaza living in Boston, I think it is. I would love to have her on to have a conversation. I think a lot of people that I'm mutuals with on TikTok, you guys might not know, but they're really good creators. And also, Ahmed, he goes under the handle of Gaza Blanca. We have been trying to put together a weekly show for a while. Um, we've been trying to put a weekly show again for a while, and maybe we'll be able to do it this weekend, but yeah. One of these days we are going to start this show, me and Ahmed, on on one of our Saturdays, our weekly Saturdays. Please be careful, look into the context. Yeah, the reason why I'm not, like, weighing into that very much is because I don't know. I don't have enough education on Syria, and I know that there's a lot of fighting about Syria right now between people on the left, like, or people in the pro-Palestine cause. There has been a lot of arguing I'm seeing and a lot of division and fighting, between people who are called, I guess, pro-Assad and people who aren't, and I'm not talking about that because I literally do not know enough about Syria or the history or the context to have an opinion on it. And also, if I see that all these people that do know about it are fighting because they don't agree on a bunch of things having to do with Syria, then I'm not trying to take my ignorant ass into that conversation and start arguing with people when I don't know. And like I don't talk about it because I don't know what the truth is. You know what I mean? Cuz like when it comes to Palestine, it's very black and white and very cut and dry who the villain is and who the oppressed people are that are, you know, fighting for their freedom. You know what I mean? Like it's very cut and dry to me. It's very black and white. When it comes to, and everybody I know that is on the left or even tangentially on the left agrees with that. Like we all have the same stance on Palestine. But when it comes to Syria, I see a bunch of people that are on the same side when it comes to Palestine fighting about Syria. So I don't know. Like, I don't know who is right on this side, who is on the right side of Syria, and who is on the wrong side because I'm not educated enough in the subject. Like, I don't know enough about Syria's history, what's actually happening there to be able to have an opinion on it. And yeah, I don't want to spread lies and propaganda even if accidentally, you know. Thank you for the super chat, Perry. I love to hear from yes. That would be really awesome. That'd be really awesome. You know, it would be awesome. Not that it would be easy to get her to come on here. It would be if I could talk to Lena Khan. Yes, it would be great to talk to Nadine. Thank you again for the super chat. Yeah, I don't know. And honestly, the thing too about Syria is that, like I said, because of the fact that I see so much fighting about it from people that I respect and people disagreeing about it who are all on the left and they're fighting about it, people who are all pro Palestine fighting about it, it makes me confused Like, I don't know who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth, who's right and who's wrong, because maybe they're all trying to tell the truth, but some of them are right and some of them are wrong. And I don't know. There are, some people that, and it's hard to tell because, like I said, I don't know enough about the history. There are some people that, like, they do hold the view that, anything that has to do with the United States being involved is bad and automatically takes the side of the people that is opposed to the United States, like the America bad line. And I don't want to just be that reductionist, to just be like, oh, well, America bad, so this must be good. But I also, again, don't know enough about it to be talking about it and giving an opinion on what they should do or what should happen or, what's going on with, it's just such a mess. And I hope that the truth of what it is comes out. And also because multiple things can be true at once, like, I don't know this to be the case, but multiple things can be true at the same time. Like, it seems like when it comes to Syria, there is a lot of nuance. I think I love Rania Khalek. I would love to talk to Rania Khalek. I would love to have her on my show or go on hers. She posted this. I would also love to have Alana Hadid. Alana Hadid is a wonderful activist, Palestinian activist. Wait, let me see. Okay, here it is. So, yes, I love Rania. So Rania wrote, many things can be true at the same time. We can be happy that the Ba'athist regime in Syria has fallen. See, like, this is how ignorant I am on Syria. I don't even know what the Ba'athist regime is. Fallen while also holding space for concerns about the future of Syria's sovereignty and diversity under the HTLs. Yeah, and wasn't there a guy that they're like making the leader that was like a designated terrorist, like on the US like terror list, and then they just dropped the designation like it ain't no thing? Actually, what would be awesome, since I'm really not educated about it, it would be great to have somebody like Rania on to kind of go over it or give her perspective on it, talk about it. We can recognize the greed and gruesome brutality of the Assad family while also being honest about the murderous sectarian record of Mohammed al-Jolani. Yeah, I think, isn't that the guy that the US was calling a terrorist? And then they're like, JK, let's call him not one because now he's good? ? Like, that seems sus. In Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, we can condemn the way that the Syrian regime under Ba'ath rule hollowed out the country, turned it into a narco state, and refused to lessen the brutality, while also being honest about the 14-year, multi-billion-dollar US-led regime change war that helped destroy Syria. We can celebrate the end of the Syrian torture and death dungeons, while also condemning the Israeli destruction of Syria's military and the expansionist Greater Israel land grab in the Golan Heights. And we can absolutely call out HTS for signaling potential normalization with the Israeli regime and what it means for regional resistance, while also understanding Syria's new government is new and we have no choice but to wait and see. There's room for nuance. There always has been. What do you guys think of that? Thank you. Thank you, Jacob, or Mark Jacobs. Thank you for the super chat. Like the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, please, if you're watching this, please like the stream and share the stream. I think that I'm still trying to learn how YouTube works, but I think that liking and sharing the stream helps the channel or something, or helps get it seen more, whatever. But also what I heard today uh, from somebody I was watching on a YouTube stream, that your subscribers actually watching your content on YouTube is like really important. So if you guys do already subscribe to my channel, I hope you're I hope you're watching my content, because apparently that what this person was saying, I don't know if this is 100% true, but they were saying that like your own subscribers watching your content is even more important than getting new subscribers. Like having the base of people that already sub to your channel actually like watching and engaging with your content. So, yeah, if you already sub on here, please watch and comment and engage with my other content too. But thank you again, Mark. Thank you guys, all of you who support the channel. Let me see what else. Are there any member chats I've missed? Thank you, Saul. I watch your videos and comment. Thank you, Saul. I appreciate that. Film Brain, absolutely. You can DM me. DM me on Twitter. Yeah, sorry guys. Sometimes I don't always look at my DMs in Twitter because the Zionists are always like, writing me crazy shit. And so a lot of times I'll just like not look at them because it's always like lunatics. But yeah, I should, just to make sure if there is like a gem in there, there is somebody who actually isn't a psycho who wants to talk, that I am open for that. But the majority of my DMs are like abuse and like threats. Thank you, Lisa. I forgot about that. The bell for notification, that's important. See, this is why you guys are so great, my YouTube community, because you're helping me like just do basic things that I did not understand. Like help the channel, like liking the stream and hitting the bell. Like these are all things that I don't think about because I'm not a like a professional, and I don't think of these things. Like my mind is so focused oftentimes on like the art of what I'm doing and the substance of what I'm doing that I don't think about like the practical things you need to do. Like it doesn't cross my mind a lot, but it's things that you are supposed to do, which is why eventually, I'm not there yet, but eventually I will get a producer. I would like to talk to the letter hack. Somebody told me that to talk to the letter hack. That would be nice because I saw that he made some pretty cool shirts for the Vanguard boys. They looked really good. Sorry you have to go through all the rude messages. Oh no, it's okay. I mean, I try to ignore most of them, but I also get good messages from people who are really sweet, but I just think that it's like Yelp, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people on Yelp don't bother, or any review, Google reviews, to do a review unless it's negative. And I think that that's why I get a lot of hate, and because Zionists are crazy. Did you tweet moments ago from what? Did you see the tweet moments ago from Mustafa? No. What happened? Let me see. Let's look. What happened? Mosab. Wait, what's his Twitter handle? What's his Twitter handle, Film Brain? Will draw you if he interviews you. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I want to go on. I want to get drawn. Hit him up, guys. It really does. It's very annoying, Blanca. It really is very annoying. Like, I just want people to be able to, like, share a link and I can click on it. Musab Abu Talha. Musab Abu. Are you talking about the hospital one? Because I obviously, like, anyone can post links here. Yeah, that is actually terrifying. Hold on, I gotta be careful about how I open this because there's, like, a very gruesome photo under it, and you know how the censors be. Anyone can post links here. Yeah, but I'm doing it through a streaming software. I think that's the reason why they won't let you. Hold on. Yeah, big news. Wait, no, that's not it. I went to the wrong one. Bruh. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. You guys, this is insane. If this is true, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was. He says, this is serious and breaking based on local reports. The Israeli regime places 3 booby-trapped robots around the Kamal Adwan hospital. That is insane. If that's true, that's insane. And you know why it should also scare you, by the way? Obviously, it's horrific and brutal the way that they treat the Palestinians. It should also scare you because they oftentimes test their AI and their weapons on the Palestinians before they bring that shit home, before they bring that shit back to the United States and bring that shit to countries all over the world. They treat the Palestinians as though, you know, as a testing ground. Blakely at 2 times speed is big. You know, theater, I don't mind because I watch mostly everything on 1.5 or 2 times speed. 2 times speed is sometimes a little fast for me, but I watch everything at least 1.5 speed. Yeah, this is terrifying, you guys. They're going to bring the, okay, it's kind of like you guys saw, I know it's like a very, very small example of it, but it's about how you guys know how they're building cop cities all over the country right now? They're doing that so when they bring insane authoritarian shit over here, nobody can fight back. That's what they're doing. The left is, thank you for the super chat, Mark. The left is losing because they told us Biden is sharp. Well, that's definitely part of it. That's definitely, they lost for a lot of reasons, but that was definitely one of them. Yep. They also were suppressing real document news. Exactly. So my point is that like this type of authoritarian shit, this dystopian nightmare shit, always comes back home. Always does in some form or fashion, usually to the most marginalized people. How the IOF trains U.S. police. Exactly. The IOF trains the U.S. police, and then they come over and they test that shit on Americans, always marginalized Americans. But don't think that just because you don't have a marginalized identity that they're not coming for you too, because they just did some authoritarian shit to some white lady in Florida, okay? So hold your, hold the phone if you're some middle-class white lady that thinks that you're not going to get targeted by the powers that be, because there's a woman in Florida who got targeted by the powers that be and charged with domestic terrorism for talking shit to a healthcare company and making an alleged threat to them. Really? Where are you guys to protect me? I get threats all the time. People who are online get threats all the time. We get death threats all the time. We get rape threats all the time. Where are you guys at? You guys aren't anywhere to be found. But this random mom of 3 kids in Florida has a moment of rage where she allegedly threatens this healthcare company, and her ass is in jail within 5 seconds, and they've charged her with terrorism. and she could get 20 years in jail. So again, they always come for the most marginalized first, but don't think they're not coming for you too. Don't think they're not coming for the rest of America's rights. And it starts in Palestine. They start in Palestine by doing shit like booby-trapped robots in hospitals. And then they eventually bring that shit here. They're literally trying to erode all of Americans' rights right now and do a new security state crackdown, okay? I made a video about this today, but I feel like I must have, I didn't even get the kind of comments on the video that I thought I would of people being more concerned. So I take responsibility from that of being like, I must have not done a very good job on the video explaining it, because the crackdown that is happening on Americans now because of their fear that people are actually standing up to corporate America, and fear that people are speaking out against corporate America and the CEOs and the elites in this country and the oligarchy combined, with the people speaking out against Gaza. Think about the crackdown that they have done over the last couple years. They have cracked down on free speech, passed laws attacking free speech, attacking the First Amendment, passing, insane, draconian definitions of anti-Semitism, passing laws stripping nonprofits of their nonprofit status so that they can declare them terrorist organizations. Like, everybody needs to understand that this is all connected. And the way they are reacting to what happened to the healthcare CEO, the way they're lashing out and doing things like arresting this woman in Florida, this is all connected, you guys. This is an authoritarian crackdown by our state. So maybe I should show a different video that I saw of it today, since, like I said, apparently I did not do a very good job of trying to explain it, because if I had, I think I would have gotten a different set of comments on my videos. But there was a video. No. Where are my saves? No. For some reason, the TikTok Chrome extension doesn't work. Does anyone know why that is? Like, why it is that the Chrome extension for TikTok doesn't really work? Bruh. Like, I can't even click on this video, bruh. Oh my gosh, this is so dumb. Like, every time I try to use TikTok on Chrome, it will just like automatically refresh it. And
there's something that most people are missing when it comes to this story. And there's something that most people are missing when it comes to this story.
All right, let me try to open it in a separate window.
An orchestrated media spectacle to basically usher in a new era of mass surveillance. Think Patriot Act 2.0. For those who don't know.
Okay, wait, hold on. Do you use OBS or Streamlabs? I use Streamlabs because it's way too OBS is too hard. It's too hard. There's too many things. I like Streamlabs as far as I like it because it is very user-friendly for those of us who are not tech savvy. OBS was totally overwhelming. OBS reminded me of Twitch. Very overwhelming, very not user-friendly. You had to like add a stage, but then like you couldn't add certain things. You had to like create a background, but then like, yeah, it was too many things. Okay. Okay, so I want to play this video of this guy explaining what's happening because, like I said, I think he does a much better job explaining it than my attempt to. So let's watch his shout out to Eric, or I'm sorry, not Eric, James Lee.
I don't know the story.
And this is 100% what's happening. He is correct.
Something that most people are missing when it comes to this story, and it's that this is an orchestrated media spectacle to basically usher in a new era of mass surveillance. Think Patriot Act 2.0. For those who don't know the story, a woman in Florida was charged by police on Tuesday after ending a call with an insurance company by saying delay, deny, depose, the three words that are reminiscent of the writings found in the shell casings retrieved at United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's murder scene in New York last week. This woman was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism, according to the affidavit. A judge set her bond at $100,000, describing it as, quote, appropriate considering the status of our country at this point, even though this lady doesn't even own a firearm. And they're saying if convicted, this woman is facing up to 15 years in prison for speech. This is bonkers. And for those of you who are saying that she FAFO'd, that she deserves all this, and people have a right to free speech, but not a right to be free of consequences, I get it. But guys, there is a much more
Okay, but I hope no one is saying that, because again, to take that position is to be a bootlicker of the powers that be and doing their dirty work for them. Because if you think that they won't turn around and do the exact same things to you, you're naive as fuck. They always will.
Sinister plan in the works that you should know about. It is now being reported that Kathy Hochul, New York's governor, is holding a therapy session with 175 corporate representatives and CEOs to calm the nerves of the NYC business elite in the wake of Brian Thompson's killing, promising state assistance for corporate security to combat domestic terrorism. Here's what they're trying to accomplish, allegedly.
There is a full court press going on in the news media and on the part of government to frame the killing of the former United Healthcare CEO as domestic terrorism. On Wednesday, the New York Police Department's head of intelligence, she made a statement essentially saying as much. And it's alarming because the national security state has a suite of tools, a whole apparatus to be able to drop the hammer on something when you're able to say that it's terrorism that they don't have if you're not able to designate something that.
This is huge and profoundly disturbing because guess what? Today, this event right here, a protest against Kellogg's, would be civil disobedience. Tomorrow, maybe it's terrorism. Exactly. And if the protest is too peaceful, maybe we do something like this. How about that, huh? I would suggest people give this Wikipedia entry a read. So make no mistake, yes, they are definitely making an example out of this woman, basically saying, don't test us. We're going to lay the hammer down on you. But the grander plan, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but the master plan here is to make it basically illegal to criticize corporations. Exactly. You can do whatever you want, but you can't be messing up the profit margins.
Facts. Exactly. Exactly. And that is what's happening. That is what's happening. They did put it back up, but they did put it back up, thankfully, but GoFundMe had taken down her her fundraiser, which is insane. Like you're doing the work of the state, which is fascism. So I'm glad they put it back up at least, but you are doing the work of the state, and it is actually fascist to do things like take down her GoFundMe page where she's trying to have a legal defense when, number one, last time I checked, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in this fucking country, okay? Supposed to be, allegedly. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So the fact that GoFundMe immediately buckled and took down her GoFundMe when she has not been convicted of shit is disgusting. Pathetic GoFundMe. We need a new GoFundMe, okay? We need a new GoFundMe. I know, that's such a good point, Flying Over Trout. That is such a good point. GoFundMe in the US is largely used to fundraise for people who don't have health care and get sick. So it would make sense that they have a business incentive to, not want to help anybody calling that out. But also, the idea that you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty and then they take it down. But as he said, as that guy said, as James Lee said in that video, which is absolutely true, they are using the word domestic terrorism and terrorism as a way to crack down on dissent. And if you think that it's not coming for more, then I mean, you're wrong. It's they will always, the security state in the United States and the fascism is going to expand because of the fact that this is what happens when people start really speaking out. That's what they did and are doing to people who are protesting the genocide in Gaza. Right? And this is what I mean, how I say it's all connected. How the lawmakers passed a law saying that they can designate nonprofits as terrorist organizations, as organizations aiding terror. Basically, in the US, if you slap the word terrorism on something, you can do whatever you want to them, as draconian as you want to them. So if they throw the label terrorist on a nonprofit organization like the ACLU, then they can drive them out of business. They can throw the label terrorist on Planned Parenthood and shut them down. They can throw the word terrorist on a pro-Palestinian protester who's exercising their First Amendment rights and get that person locked up for decades. They can throw the label terrorist on this woman who allegedly made a threat to the insurance company on the phone, and now she's facing 20 years in prison. This is insane. What is that saying? Fascism is colonialism turned inward. That's what this is. The fascism that is happening in the United States is basically what the United States has done to other countries all around the world. They're turning it inward. They're turning it inward, and they're accelerating it because the more scared they get, the more brutal they get. This always happens with fascism. You know, this always happens with fascism. The more afraid the powers that be get, whether that be about what's happening in Gaza and people finding out the truth about the Israeli regime, or about people starting to actually get class consciousness about the way that we're fucked over by the healthcare companies and get class consciousness about the way we're fucked over by the oligarchs and the corporatocracy, the more the state is going to crack down, is going to get more fascist. The more fascist they're going to become, the more brutal they're going to become, the more they're going to crack down. Okay? That is what always happens. They're going to get more authoritarian. And why do they get that way when it comes to the healthcare industry? Because government has been captured by corporations. Government and corporations are like this. The government are the corporations now are the government. There is little to no distinction now between the government and the corporations. So the reason why you're seeing this colonialism turned inward being fascism is because our government was because our government a while ago was hijacked by corporations. So yes, you are going to see the continued colonialism turn inward fascism in the United States. You're going to continue to see that crackdown because when you see what happens to governments that get hijacked by corporations and corporate interests and the interests of the 1%, and you see that merge, the collision of government and corporatocracy, you get fascism. This is what you get. You get fascism. So this is what's happening. That is the only reason why they did that to her. And again, if you think you're immune from this or it's not coming for you or what you believe, consider how rare it is for a white mother in the United States of America to be charged with a crime like this. That usually doesn't happen to white women, not white moms, certainly not. But you know why it's happening? Because again, they're seeing the class consciousness and reaction coming out of what happened, and they're trying to shut that shit down now. They're trying to shut that shit down now and be like, if you fucking speak out, if you even think about challenging the corporatocracy, you're going to go to prison like this woman. Yeah, they don't need to have a reason. They can just make it up. They'll just call it terrorism. It's the same shit they do with calling everything Hamas. Everything is Hamas. Oh, well, you're Hamas, so it's Hamas. It's the same principle. They want to crack down on regular people gaining class consciousness and fighting back against the corporatocracy and the 1%. And they want to be able to do so in a way where they can really oppress the regular people from standing up against this corporatocracy and this oligarchy. And you can't do that technically to an American citizen because we allegedly have freedom and we allegedly have a First Amendment, but they get around that by just saying, oh, it's terrorism. It's terrorism. That's how they get away with it, by just calling it terrorism. And this is what happens when you allow your rights to be eroded. Because this has been happening for a while. Our rights have continued to be eroded year after year after year. And the more you allow your rights to be eroded, the more shit like this happens, to the point where you have no defense anymore. There is no defense eventually against the tyranny of our government / corporate ruling class. There's no defense against it when they are slowly but surely chipping away at all of our rights. Yeah, calling Hassan a terror. Like, that was so insane. Yeah, and the reason why Ethan Klein did that was because he knew that it has such a heavy connotation that by doing that to someone, you can try to destroy their lives. Because if Hassan is just a guy that has different beliefs and principles, and he's speaking about those beliefs and principles and against the oppression of the Palestinians, well, then that's kind of hard to fight against. But if you call him a, scary Arab terrorist, well, then you can try to get him kicked off Twitch. Maybe arrested. Oh my gosh, Nancy Mace is such a loser. She's such a pathetic loser. I don't think I've ever seen anyone more thirsty for attention. See how this is all like propaganda from corporations? And oops, I didn't. JK, I went to the wrong one. Sorry. See how this is all just like a propaganda on behalf of Elon Musk and the 1% and the Zionists? And what's sad is that Twitter is one of the least censorious apps, when like so many of the other apps are so censorious. Twitter's probably one of the least, and yet it's still rigged. It's rigged on behalf of the rich and corporations, 1%, Trump, and Zionists. Because Elon Musk is a right-winger. He's a Trumper, so he rigs it that way. He's afraid of the Zionist lobby, so he allows them to rig it in their favor. And then, because after the ADL met with him, then all of a sudden he did a 180 and started doing propaganda for them. And then he does, he rigs it also. And then he also does, like rigging on behalf of his own like page. Like he forces everybody to see his tweets the most, and he shows like mostly right-wing tweets. So it's rigged in a way that like helps the right wing get the most visibility, helps him get the most visibility, and just like props up like Zionist talking points and like right-wing corporate elite 1% propaganda. LOL. Columbia professor resigns over course on Zionism. Columbia has resigned in protest over the university's decision to allow Professor Joseph Massad to teach a course on Zionism. Massad previously made statements praising the October 7th Hamas attacks. Did he, though? Did he? Or did you just make that up? Rosenblatt's resignation letter highlighted concerns about the university's academic integrity. Oh my gosh, this is a joke. Stop anti-Semitism. Oh my gosh, they're such clowns. They're such clowns. Oh, I forgot. I can't retweet stop anti-Semitism because those clowns blocked me. See? This is insane. Oh my gosh. Of course, look at all the Zionists crying. There should be allowed to be courses on it. Oh, it wasn't letting me click on it. Whoops. Hey, Corden. Wait, Unique Breakfast Taco said, and here's where you go off the rails. How did I go off the rails? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, so this is hilarious. Wait, hold on. Where'd it go? Oh, this is hilarious. Columbia. First of all, you should absolutely be able to teach a course on Zionism. Absolutely. Zionism is an ideology. It's an ideological movement. It's a political movement that started in the 1800s. Yes, you should. And it is the reason why we are where we are today. One of the reasons why we are where we are today. Of course, you should be able to teach a course on that. There's supposed to be learning environments. You're supposed to be able to hear ideas you don't agree with. Remember how the right wing would always be like, I hate colleges because they don't let right wingers, like Ann Coulter, say the things they want to say because they don't agree with it. La, 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 la. Leftists on campus. The leftists on campus. The leftists on campus. Really? What now? What now? All these people crying over leftists on campus are now taking the side of the guy who's throwing a tantrum and resigning because they're allowing somebody to teach a course on Zionism. They're allowing a teacher to teach a course on a historic ideological movement. They're allowing him to teach that course as he should be able to. And this snowflake is resigning over it. And all the Zionists are on Twitter crying, taking his side, being like, "Oh my gosh, they're not letting him. They're not letting him throw too big of a tantrum over it. Good for him for resigning because this teacher is Hamas and Columbia is Hamas." Even though Columbia did a brutal crackdown, infamous brutal crackdown on the students protesting for Palestine, on the encampments for the Palestinian protesters, but somehow now Columbia is Hamas, and they're all crying that he's gonna, this guy's gonna teach a course. And how much you want to bet? Barry Weiss, who made her fucking career whining about college campuses being too leftist and not allowing the free flow of ideas. Watch her take the side of the snowflake guy resigning who's against speech. Watch Rave Dubin, who also cried forever, talking about the left don't let people talk about things they don't like. Watch him defend this decision. Watch. Because none of these people actually gave a shit about free speech ever. Yeah, it's just a bunch of Zionists whining. What happened to free speech? What happened to free speech? I thought you guys cared about free speech. What happened to the free flow, the free flow of ideas? What happened to the marketplace of ideas? You afraid of ideas? So embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Oh, the person who I asked, like, why did I go off the rails? He said, saying that Musk. He's saying I went off the rails, I guess, because I called Musk right wing, which he absolutely is. He absolutely is. There's nothing that makes Musk not right wing. He literally voted for Trump, supported Trump, writes deranged conspiracy theories about immigrants constantly that aren't true, is against immigration, is against taxing the rich, of course, because he's an oligarch. Why would he want taxes? Is against unions, which again, right-wing position, right-wing oligarch, is against the minimum wage. What about him? He's against trans folks. What about him is not right-wing? Then you don't know the definition of right-wing. None of that makes him right-wing. No, except it literally does. You don't know the definition of right wing then. He also met with Satan Yahoo. True. Yeah, that literally does make you right wing. I'm not interested in this whole thing that people try to do where they try to like whitewash the right wing into being something that they're not. No, that's literally what right wingers are. Apologists for Zionists, union busters, anti-worker, anti-minimum wage, anti-LGBTQ plus, anti-immigration, like, and literally is a billionaire who hoards the wealth of labor that he extracts from other people. Literally, you can't name a single thing that doesn't make him right wing. Name me a single thing that makes him not right wing. Why don't you answer that? Because you guys love this talking point, Taco, Unique Breakfast Taco. You guys love this talking point. He was a Democrat until you guys had to side with MAGA because y'all are insane. Doing the why I left the left routine. Tell me what about him is not right wing. What is it that made him progressive or liberal when he is against everything that liberals and progressives stand for? Like, seriously. This is true. This is true. Being a billionaire and clearly right wing kind of goes hand in hand. You're right. Being a billionaire is inherently right wing because billionaires should not exist. And before you say, what about what's his name? What about George Soros or who's the other liberal billionaire, like Mark Cuban or some shit? They're right wingers too. Like, just because there are some billionaires that don't hate queer people and don't hate immigrants doesn't make them liberal when it comes to any economic system or populist on any economics. No, being a billionaire is inherently right wing. You're just a right winger who's socially liberal, or you're a corporatist who's socially liberal, or you're a plutocrat or a guy, a part of the broligarchy who happens to have some social liberal values or who is socially liberal. But you're still right wing because being a billionaire and a wealth hoarder and a capitalist extremist is inherently right wing. So you're right. No, you're not. You're literally wrong. All right. I want everybody in chat to notice that this person cannot answer the question. I said, name something that makes him liberal. What about him is liberal? What makes him liberal? What makes him on the left or ever did? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And honestly, like liberals now over the last like, I don't know, half century, pretty much since Reagan is a liberal is basically just a moderate Republican now. Like our politics have moved. They love to talk about how leftists have moved so far to the left, which is such bullshit. No, the right and the country has moved so far to the damn right that Democrats, like Democratic lawmakers and liberals, are just moderate Republicans now. Yeah, I think they're trolling me. I'm not going to be responding anymore. But, you know, don't let people get away with that, you guys. Don't. There are a lot of people that try to do that routine, the whole why I left the left routine. And they do that because this is the last thing I'll say. Classical liberalism was anti-war, anti-government, and for the workers, none of which they are today. The left are the only ones for the workers. Hate to break it to you. And I don't know if you're just trolling, but this is obvious bullshit. The only people that are for workers are the left. That's it. The left are the only people for workers. Number one. Number two, the left are the ones who are anti-war. Okay? They're the ones who are anti-war. And number three, the left are still the only ones who want to hold government accountable. Elon Musk wants to go into the government so that he can loot the treasury even further and cut taxes and regulation for himself, his business friends, and for the other elites and oligarchs in the country and around the world that, you know, are billionaires and other plutocrats and businesses and corporations. So that's not small government. That's not anti-government when you literally want to be a part of the government. Also, anybody who calls, you can tell someone's a right winger by their language. Okay, I know I said it was the last one, but this will be the last one. This person, Uni Taco, said, you're not, you offer nothing but handouts. Listen to the language they use. That's how I can now tell that this guy's a right winger. Because if you're calling handouts programs that people who pay into them, like unemployment insurance, we pay into Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, we pay into all those things. And he calls those handouts, but he doesn't call billionaires the welfare queens that they are. It is the billionaire class that are welfare bums that suck money out of the working class and funnel it up to themselves. Those are the welfare bums. Those are the ones with handouts. Those are the ones with handouts. How much money has Elon Musk gotten in subsidies, which is a fancier word for welfare, from the government? So that's how you can tell somebody is right wing. Elon Musk's companies have received billions of dollars in government support, including Tesla, SpaceX, $14 billion from NASA, $5.3 billion from the Defense Department. I mean, come on. Over the past 16 years, Musk's business deals with the government total nearly $20 billion, according to federal contracting data. So, what's this, Playboy? What's this, Playboy? Sounds like welfare to me. Sounds like government handouts to me. Huh, weird. Over the past 16 years, he's gotten 20 billion in government welfare. Every Republican voted for that bank bailout, by the way. When people were like, who bailed out the banks? Republicans also bailed out the banks. He can't answer this, though. He can't answer. The person that had been trolling this whole time, the right winger, he can't answer this. What do you call endless handouts to a billionaire for his billion-dollar companies? This is literally corporate welfare. So who are you calling a person getting handouts, huh? And honestly, this kind of goes back to the conversation, you guys, we were having at the beginning of this stream, where I said that conservatives are not populists and that you shouldn't get bamboozled into thinking that they are. This is kind of how the conversation started, so I think it's a good place to end it. This is something that you guys need to be very aware of, where going back to the beginning of the stream, what I said was conservatives are not populists. Populists do not bootlick for the 1% and for corporations. They want to take on corporations in the 1%. And what do you see here? Republicans and billionaire oligarchs like Elon Musk, love them some corporate welfare. But what do you see from people who are right wing? Do you see him talking and calling out these welfare bums, these corporate welfare bums? Do you see that? No, you don't. You see them talking about welfare handouts to regular people. That is the difference between actual populists and right-wing populists. If you were really a populist, you would be fighting for the rights of working class people, poor people, regular people, and you would be not afraid to take on the billionaire class and the corporatists and the oligarchs and the elites that run this country. But if you'll ever notice too, and keep this in mind, whenever right-wingers talk about elites, they're always vague. They're always vague. They always will just have like an amorphous elite that is always very vague because they don't actually want to call out the powers that be. They don't actually oppose Elon Musk getting corporate welfare. They don't oppose billionaire plutocrats like Peter Thiel getting tons of money from the military industrial complex for Palantir. They don't oppose that. They don't oppose the oligarchy. They don't oppose the military industrial complex. They don't oppose big pharma. And when you hear people like that guy in chat talking about how, people are getting handouts while he defends plutocrats like Elon Musk who get billions of dollars in corporate welfare, it reveals once again that they're not populist on the right. They hate poor people. They don't like working class people. They don't care about them. They are at the root of it capitalists who worship the plutocracy and worship the corporatocracy. They want to be a part of it. They don't want to challenge it. They want to be a part of it. So understand that. No, that's not true, Kai. I said it was going to be the last thing I said to him specifically. I didn't say I was going to stop talking about the subject. I said I was going to stop responding to that person directly, to be clear. But in any event, I'm shutting up. I'm done. I'm done my rant. I just think that these things are important to know because there are a lot of people out there that are trying to make a lot of money off people by pretending to be populists. So I think it's important that people understand that. Thank you, Blanca. It's kind of my thing. I don't mean to. It just ends up happening because I get very exercised over this kind of stuff. This true. Both parties are owned by Zionists. True. Correct. Both parties are owned by Zionists. Republicans and Democrats' main job is to protect the 1% and divide the American people so that they keep fighting each other instead of the billionaires. Correct. Correct. This is correct. Anyway, great stream, everyone. I think I'm going to be wrapping it up. I'll probably go live again on Thursday. So, yeah, keep the comments coming. Join the Discord if you're not already in the Discord, if you want to suggest guests or really suggest anything else or just be a part of the community. Thank you again so much to everybody who gave super chats. Thank you to everybody who became a member. You can become a member on YouTube, or you can become a member on Ko-Fi, or you can become a member on my Patreon to support my work, or you can donate to my Venmo or Cash App. Up to you, however you want to support me. I thank you for your support. or if you just, you know, don't have the financial means to still subscribe to all my channels, including YouTube, and hit the bell for notifications. I love you all. We're still trying to, you know, work out the schedule and things like that. But yes, thank you everybody who donated super chats and also commented and just were here. And yeah, so again, subscribe to all my channels. I love you all. We probably are going to go live on Thursday. I will put out the stream a couple hours before. Later, gladiators. I like that. I love you all. Free Palestine. And I will see you on Thursday. Bye, everyone.